Greetings. I thought it would be good to give you a sense of what social distancing looks like in the sanctuary. We've been hearing that term for some time, and of course the measurement that we most often hear with it is 6 feet. So just taking a pew like this, if we have two people seated on each end of the pew, there's 6 feet between the two persons. Which would mean that if you have only one person sit on one end because there's only one in their household, you could have 3 on that end. But if you had a 4th person, then no one could be seated on this end. If everybody came from the same household, they could fill up the pew. You could put 7 across here, and it wouldn't be a problem. But as you start to look through the sanctuary, what you realize is that we can't even go just every other row. Because if I measure that 6 feet out, what you find is that 6 feet makes it so I have to skip 2 rows. And so the result is that on this half of the room, I can basically seat 16 people in pairs. But again, remember, some of our folks are single-person household, and they can't sit with somebody else if they're the only one here from their household. The other part that makes it tricky is that the aisle is not 6 feet either. It's actually only a little over 5 foot, which means that for me sitting here on the end, I would barely be 6 feet away from the person on that end. And so you see, as a result, the rows are staggered, which means that while we got 16 on this side, we only got 12 on the other side. So that only allows us seating for really 28 in the room. Now, of course, I'd be up front. Janet could stay up front. So that would give us 30. We could have one guy in the booth, but not 2. And we could probably seat 1 or 2 people together over on the side chairs in back. So at best, we can get to about 30 in this room. Now, as I look at our attendance sheet for the first 3 months of this year, we're going to be okay on that number. Our best Sunday was 30. But again, we're going to have to be spread out more than what we're used to. And of course, the more folks that there are that are here just by themselves, then the fewer people we can actually get in the room at a time. But this gives you a sense of what that social distancing looks like. So here we are at Wattsburg, and again, same kind of exercise. We can look, and there is 6 feet right there. And as you see, we've got seating here for about 16 on each side. Again, we've had to stagger the rows a little bit because of the distance between the center aisle. So this would give us seating for 32. We could actually pick up one more person in each of the 2 chairs in back. We could put a family grouping on the back pew, but it would need to be, everybody on that pew would need to be part of the same household in order to work. So we could get seating up to about 40 in this sanctuary and still maintain the 6 foot distance. However, one of the things we need to remember is that currently under the yellow plan, we would be required to keep our attendance to 25 or less. So that affects us greatly here, given that when you look at our attendance through the first 3 months of this year, our lowest Sunday was the Sunday before we shut down, which meant some of you started staying home already, and that Sunday we had 27. So we know that this is going to be a challenge and that we might not be able to come back quite as soon as we would hope. But this helps you to understand what some of the factors are that we have to consider as we look at how we move forward. Thanks for being with us.